Hello again, it's Monday, June 23rd, 2014. I'm John Matthews from the HR Agenda and Japan HR Society. Looking behind me, you can see the SHRM is going still very strong on its second day here in Orlando, Florida. This actually is nothing compared to the entire exhibition hall. As far as the eye can see in both directions, wall to wall with booths, people networking, getting together, as I mentioned in our last video. Of course, today's morning keynote speech from Tom Friedman, talking about hyper-connectedness. Of course, in the digital age, we all know that the internet has brought us all closer. Now the problem with that is that it brings our competitors closer as much as it brings our collaborators closer. So even though you're publishing with a group that you might not have found without the internet, you're also going to have a tougher time because every single person who can get on the web has access in name to said publishers if you are trying to put out a book, a magazine, some sort of material. Another highlight for today, international reception and table topics. Now the global lounge, as you can see in the video, is packed to the brim with delegates from every single country represented here at the SHRM, over 90 different countries here at SHRM, talking about issues that face you and me and everyone we know in the world today in HR. A very unique opportunity to network and to get a unique perspective on how a certain HR issue affects this country, that nation, that industry, this person. Another big issue facing Japan and the rest of the world is an aging workforce. Certain nations, including Japan and Canada, very low birth rates, contributing to an increase in the average age of the workforce, causing certain issues when it comes to continuity of employment, etc. Now, that issue, of course, Japan facing the biggest problem right now, big in the news and the headlines back home in Tokyo, but we sat down with a gentleman who's working on research with SHRM and other organizations to try and combat, or at least try and suggest best practices to how to combat the aging workforce and the changing workforce and the changing workplace.
We looked to Japan as a country because that was our assumption, was that there would be best practices already in Japan for trying to deal with the aging workforce because they were ahead of many other countries on that problem. What we found was many organizations doing just the opposite, where they were trying to deleverage the older workers and bring them out of their organizations rather than trying to retain them in their organizations. And so we weren't able to actually identify a best practices company within the Japanese market to identify those practices.
Of course, Japan being the bellwether for an aging workforce issue, despite the culture being different and best practices devised in Japan not being 100% applicable to other countries and corporate cultures, we're still hoping that something will come out of research in Japan and in other nations to help the rest of the world, well, the entire world, not just the rest of the world, to combat the issue of the aging workforce. Again, I'm John Matthews with the HR Agenda, bringing you more videos as we move along with the conference. Tomorrow, day 3, David Novak gets on the stage, delivers his keynote address, and we're bringing you more content from here in Orlando, Florida. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Japan HR Society. You can find us on Facebook, search Japan HR Society. Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon.